Hero Academia Season Uno was a trudge to get through on the rewatch because holy guacamole, I don't understand how I even cared to stay with the series after watching it the first time when I first watched it, because rewatching it, oh, was a drag because this guy just would not shut the fuck up. But that's not the only reason, and that's not the main reason, not even close to why I feel like My Hero Season 1 was kind of meh, especially comparatively to the rest of the series. So, let's go ahead and talk about it. Get yourself strapped in, a little locked in, set the beautiful like button, blaze for me, and subscribe, my friends, and join the Zebra Gang, and let's talk a little bit about My Hero Academia. So, we end up meeting quite a few different heroes and cool people and characters throughout this series. You already understand and should know the concept, but if you don't, and if you've been living under a rock for the past couple of years, then let me explain. This world is basically run and ruled, in a sense, by superheroes. About 80% of people have superpowers, and the people who don't have superpowers are just regular pedestrians, and they're just normal people, while everybody else has superpowers. Enter Deku, our national crybaby. He was born without powers. He does not have powers. He doesn't have this thing called a quirk. That's what they're called, quirks. They're not just called superpowers, they're called quirks, because look at me, quirky. He doesn't have a power, and he's still wanting to become a superhero. He's still vying to try and be a superhero. And then enter Bakugo. The reason why I chose this picture is because he basically looks mad like this the entire fucking season. Actually, for the next, like, 4 fucking seasons, basically. He is an angry boy with explosion powers in his hands through sweat. And he does not like Deku, even though they've been friends since they were kids. He doesn't like that Deku is trying to be a hero and whatnot. But as you go on throughout the series, you end up meeting the #1 hero, and both of these two characters, our main characters, so to speak, Idol. And that is All Might. He's the #1 hero. He's the most popular, most famous, most strongest, and all that shenanigans. This is what he initially looks like, but this is what he really looks like now after a very, very, very brutal battle that left him basically unable to use his powers to its full extent. He ends up meeting Deku, telling him himself that you can't be a superhero without superpowers. His mom told him you can't be a hero without superpowers, and Deku basically was about to commit seppuku until he ended up making him train and swallow a piece of his hair. And now he is on the road to becoming the best hero, because now, after swallowing said piece of hair, he now has All Might's powers that he now needs to train himself in order to control. And he tries to go to this school called UA, and of course he's the main character along with Bakugo, so of course they both make it in. And we meet a lot of cool characters here. A lot of them are really cool. A lot of them are really dope. A lot of them are basically unimportant for the most part. Who you need to pay attention to is Teacher Aizawa, Bakugo, Deku, Ida, Todoroki, Uraraka, and Kirishima. Those are the basic main heroes in all reality, and to an extent, Froppy or Sue. Alright? They end up having like a cool little like test and whatnot, because it is school, so they have different testings to test their powers and try to figure out how to better their powers. Deku at the moment only knows how to use a very small percentage of his power, which is called One for All, and he can't use it very much because every time he does use it, he breaks his arms, he breaks his legs, breaks his fingers, yada yada. He's just utterly useless throughout this entire fucking first season. Goodness gracious, and he cries so much. But that's not even the reason why season 1 was so annoying. Okay, we end up meeting one of the coolest characters in our reality, Aizawa. He's basically Kakashi / Gojo. Yeah, his power is erasing quirks. Pretty cool. But During a final testing session, villains attack, and we meet our main, and I believe he's going to continue being our main villain all the way through My Hero, and that is Shigaraki. Tomura Shigaraki, I believe, is his full name. Full government out there. And he is not here alone. He brings a lot of thugs, but along with him comes some elites. Or two, per se. We have Kurogiri, Shadow Man, basically teleports people. And we have the Nomu, which is basically an unknown thing right now in Season 1. You learn a little bit later what and how these things are to exist. And it's pretty fucked up. They basically ransacked over the class of 1A, the class that the main characters are in, and they get their shit beat in. And it's a bad scene until ooh, yeah, Aizawa gets his ass whooped. He gets his ass served on a platter, but it gets better. It gets better because All Might lost his smile. He was pissed. He showed up on the scene, and guess what? He basically got his ass whooped a little bit too, because need I remind you, he doesn't and can't use his power to full extent anymore. So this Nomu is supposed to be as strong as All Might in his prime, and All Might right now is not in his prime at all. But of course, throughout a long, heartfelt battle, he ends up winning and knocks the Nomu into orbit, basically, in a sense. And they capture him, detain him, and everything, and it doesn't talk. So we learn nothing, basically. We just know who the bad guys are, okay? Reason why I feel like this was such a trudge is because there's so many just weird things that are just there to be there, right? So Bakugo kind of he just hates Deku just because he randomly does pop up with a quirk out of nowhere. So it's understandable for him to be a little weirded out about it and be like, well, you were my friend and you've been hiding your quirk from me since childhood. You think you're better than me. Very huge leaps of logic to get to that conclusion. Or Araka, Gravity Girl, randomly just immediately starts liking Deku. Little odd. Little strange. We have Mineta, the pervert character that's just there to be a pervert, and he doesn't change throughout any of the he's still a pervert all the way through and through. He is an incel horny boy. That was a little strange. And then like this is the first time that I've seen a series where the main character actually is just completely and utterly fucking useless throughout the entire first season. He doesn't really learn how to use his power at all, and I understand that it's a journey to learn and everything, and he shouldn't master it right away, but some kind of good use, he never learns anything, basically. It's wild. It's kind of wild. And I'm supposed to root for this guy? And that's the problem. Because I did anyways. I was sitting there, whenever he cried, I cried. Whenever he was sitting there having his moments of like, I gotta keep trying harder, I gotta keep trying harder, being useless, I still was emotionally there and like, yes, let's do this. I'm useless too. Let's become not useless type deal. It's pretty, it's a trudge, man. It's a trudge. Too many goddamn emotions. Too many goddamn emotions. But maybe that's just me. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment. Remember, you guys are in Supremo. My Hero Season 1. Trudge! Because emotional damage. That's all I got for you. Daddy's the best in YouTube. Sign the fuck off. Have yourselves a nice rest of your day and a nice juicy chickadee goddamn. Ciao, my friends.